and it anchors, and then
not loud enough for you?
And then it has like weights for like weightlifting on the bottom that are removable. So when you travel with it, you can move it, and then you get to your location where you're like mixing music, and then you just put the weights down. And we had, I mean, it's good up for like a chick up to like 160 pounds. Anything above that, like we had a.
So both can get on.
We had a large.
Did it crash?
Large
Hey,
girl,
Matt, we've been rolling, dude.
Huh? Yeah, we're rolling.
Yeah, we've been rolling.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey guys, welcome to the Nuts Round Table. We're joined today by the guys from American Milsim. You might recognize some of them. We got Bo here and Rick and Russo.
This was the big guy that we tackled in that video.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
This guy, he's not really that big. He just
You might
He's
recognize
taller
the
than
beard.
me.
Yes.
He's taller than Matt.
yeah. Is he taller than that?
Yeah, he's taller
Yeah,
than
but
me.
Matt's not that big.
Who?
You.
I'm 6'3".
I'm 6'2". You
Like
got
I said, he's not that big.
Right.
So you guys know how we do the Nuts Round Table. We're here setting up for Airsoft.com, which is tomorrow. So by the time you're seeing this, it'll be after Airsoft.com. But so you guys submit questions in previous videos, and we try to answer those to the best of our ability. Since you guys are guests, if you guys would like to start with the first question,
Awesome. Yep.
it'd be great.
Pull one.
Well, tell us how long it takes
No,
you.
you gotta pull a question.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
I mean, you feel free to ask a question. but that's
You should say who's it from, and then read the question.
This is from our friend Skylar Bison.
Bison.
Greetings from Oregon, NSRT. Huge fan. Love the themes, questions, and you guys are the ones who get me started in Airsoft. It's awesome. My questions for tactics is sniper related. Sniper guy. I am a sniper who only pushes halfway up the field and picks people off. Do you think that is a good tactic for sniping? That's the first question. And can you give me your opinions on what you think is the best tactic for doing that? AKA also I run bolt action. So he wants to know if that's the way to snipe effectively is to kind of push up halfway and sit. What do y'all think about that?
What works most effectively for the fields that you guys host at? Because I mean, as a Milsim, event coordinators and planners, I mean, you pick locations that have a good mix of both outdoor and indoors. So,
Right.
so what do you find works best for like the players that come out to your events?
So most of the snipers, they tend to stay back because they get engaged. Put fire on them, you're done. So a lot of the snipers will stay back, go with the ghillie suit, maybe not a ghillie suit. They'll stay back, dig in, and they just out there just panning, and they're just sniping people off.
Doing
and
a
then
lot of
they'll radio
Overwatch. Yeah.
Overwatch. They're gonna radio in what they see, and that's kind of their strategic piece to it. That's how.
I think it's cool because as a sniper, I'm not really a sniper, but I see snipers when I'm out there admitting and stuff like that, dude. And there's nothing more amazing than looking at them and just seeing them just pop somebody randomly, just out of nowhere. So hanging back is probably. I mean, if you're a sniper, hanging back is probably gonna be the best.
So being
way.
patient.
Yeah, you're getting that satisfaction, that gratification of popping somebody that has no idea where you're at, and especially when they're like closing in on your squad or whatever, and you're covering them, doing Overwatch.
Yeah, I think it's a big intimidation factor. He has a really valid question, and I think a lot of it really depends on the AO. If you're in a mount site and you're holding up, a particular section, you can actually hold that area for a while, and the intimidating factor of you being there. So I think it really depends on where you're playing, moving up with your squad.
And you'll see them on the rooftops, just going around.
For me, there's two key elements to sniping. One of the big things that you'll notice in airsoft games, especially where there's elevation changes, is that if you have the high ground, you're automatically at an advantage. I don't care how amazing the airsoft player is that you're going against. If you have the high ground, you're going to be able to suppress them most of the time. So as the sniper, getting the high ground is paramount. And the second thing is that a sniper on their own, that's cool and it looks awesome, but working with a squad is what makes you effective. So a sniper that can provide cover to allow a squad to move up or to allow your team to gain ground is far more effective than just hanging back and just picking people off that you see. So working in tandem with a larger force is really where I would suggest the sniper's role to be, and not just kind of slinking around and taking pot shots at people.
Right.
I agree with everything they just said. I don't have the patience to do that in Airsoft. I know you don't either.
I'm not a sniper.
Yeah, no, we just rather go die or something.
It takes a special person, I think.
No, I mean, but if you stay in comms, I mean, it's like, hey guys, you got two here, you got two there.
Overwatch is
Now
probably
you're clear.
something I can do because I'm working with the teams. I'm helping a team out, but I don't have the patience to just pick people off all day.
Has anybody played the role of a sniper ever?
I played a sniper for a Route 66. I had a VSR 10 that I converted to gas.
Nice.
And I enjoyed it for about 10 minutes.
And that was it.
And I was just
Couldn't
like,
take
this is dumb.
I don't play it. I see those people in those ghillie suits, and I sweat as it is.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
know.
just like
That's my big.
I'll
big
take
turn
I'll
off.
take the gear and all that, but no, I'm not doing the
Did
whole
we answer
ghillie
all
suit.
his questions?
Yes, we answered. I think more than his question.
Thank you, Skylar.
All right, we have Texas CQB.
All right, Texas
That's
boy.
you, Rick.
I take my gear to events and the Husky Mobile Job Box. In a Husky Mobile Job Box.
That's that black
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Straight on
So my
top.
question is, for you answered, is how do you take your gear to events? Wear it, a loadout bag, a box. I think we know what Bo's answer is going to be.
We can all elaborate on that.
Yeah, we all carry the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
mean,
actually almost every.
Yeah.
I know he has a 511 loadout bag, and then we have.
You know, it's
LBT.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
No, it
it.
was
Yeah.
there.
I mean, LBT's not good enough for you.
No, I took it.
I see how it is. I'm taking it.
I mean, I use it.
loadout,
I
loadout
use a
bags
loadout
at Pelicans,
bag.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I use a loadout bag to travel anywhere, whether it's an event or here or wherever.
Yeah.
I just
Well, I think-
I pack it up and just.
I think that's a really a
convenient.
valid question because when I got started early in Airsoft, I saw multiple ways that people would travel to events. They'd either have big boxes or tubs from like
Yeah.
Walmart or whatever got them their gear where it needed to go. And then as I became more organized and got more stuff, I started to switch stuff to loadout bags and became, just a lot more organized. I think that's really what it's all about, how you want to bring your stuff. And these big loadout bags that have dividers, you can put your kit in one side and then all of your clothing on the other or whatever. But yeah, I mean,
You evolve.
anyway, it depends how you travel. If you fly a
You
lot.
evolve from event to event because I mean, when we started out, it was just like. I mean, heck, I didn't bring a trash bag, but hell, if I could bring a trash bag, I'd bring a trash bag. But now, you get bags and then loadout bags, and you get, your rifle cases,
Right.
and you
It
you
just
get
depends where you're
advanced
going.
and you get evolved every event, and you just learn what works for you. So it really depends on what works for you.
Yeah.
So,
think so.
The LBT bag that most of us have, what is that one called?
That's just a big, large LBT two-wheeled loadout bag.
So you have to get that. LBT, it's sectioned.
Yeah.
It's got, okay, I'm all about
Hold
organization.
on. LBX.
LBX.
It's coming out with one soon.
Yeah, that too?
LBX.
it's got at
That's
least
right.
38 pockets,
Yeah.
a bunch of Velcro. It's complete modular.
It's
And then
sectioned
when you
off.
fill it up, you go over the 50 limit max.
Yeah,
Yes.
you pay $300 in
Yeah,
bags.
It's got the
Exactly.
wheels, you got the handle, and you just go, and then you have straps that come over. So I've got like my vest across it and your rifle bag, and just pick it up.
cinch it
It's
down.
also
Hey,
got that clear thing
What's
on top
even
to put
better
your
is
name.
like when I had too many, I had two-wheel loadouts, so the three-wheel small loadout bag, and then the two-wheel larger one, but then I put the Pelican case on top and then strapped it down.
Yeah.
So I was one guy bringing three things. So it actually,
that's a little
yeah.
overkill.
So to
It
segue
is.
to his question, I think we take too much stuff because
we always take
all
too
have
much
like the
stuff.
Husky, we all have the LBX or LBT bag, two rifle cases. Next thing you know, it's like almost a pallet full of stuff
Yeah,
each of us are
it's
taking.
obnoxious. It's obnoxious.
Which to a local game is not such a big deal that you can drive there if you've
Right.
got the space
Yeah.
in your
Right.
car. But
But
when you're flying,
that's where it gets challenging.
like
Yeah.
I really had to itemize the things that I had and decide, okay, what do I absolutely need and what can I do without, and then that became my travel gear. Like local games, like I can afford to take everything with me because there's no space requirement. But when I have a weight and size requirement, I have to be very proactive in trimming down my
True.
my
You can
gear.
UPS.
Absolutely.
Or you can
UPS.
Anybody want to draw another question,
Yeah, pull
Matt
another
or
question.
Russo?
Yeah,
All right, let's see here.
Do it.
All right, this is from Vice HDX. Have you ever had an awkward or funny situation with a law enforcement officer about your airsoft gear while on the road traveling?
Why
Oh,
isn't
man.
Jet here to pick
Oh,
on?
yeah.
Jet's
I've
got
had
some
that.
good ones. that
Yep.
I've
We got
heard.
some good ones of that too.
Yep.
I've had, I've pulled over. We're not gonna cite the infraction, but yeah, I had all my gear in the back one time, and he's like,
You get pulled over for a ticket for speeding.
yeah,
and then you
something,
had to-
and he was like, I had to explain myself what was going on. He's like, sir, there's something we need to know about. And I'm like, I'm sorry. He said, look in your back seat. I said, oh no, because I had all my gear. I didn't even realize
plane
it.
carriers.
And I had
cases.
everything, and he's like, do you have like credentials? And I'm like, no, sir, I'm just a citizen. So it was very awkward. It was a lot of pause.
I'm just a
And-
citizen.
Yeah, I'm not.
yeah, I was like, I'm nobody
An illegal
special. I just
citizen.
play airsoft, and that's just all my gear. He's like, well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and he started looking at the guns and opening up the gun bags and like checking everything out. And I'm like, okay, I'm breathing heavy, breathing hard. I'm like, I did nothing wrong here, but it was
is
definitely awkward.
It's protocol. They typically ask you have any weapons, you have
Right,
any guns, and of course, a lot of us are carrying those. So we're like, yeah, we have airsoft.
Right.
It's a toy, and most of the time they're pretty cool about it. Obviously disclose what you have,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
so
don't
there's
try
not
to-
elements of
don't try
surprise.
to hide it or
No,
you know.
don't try to hide it.
that draws questions.
But a lot of times
Right.
when they ask you what you do and what's it for, you tell them airsoft, and whether they are or not educated, a lot of times it starts a whole new dialogue, and sometimes you talk your way out of a speeding
I actually
ticket.
didn't get a
Oh,
ticket.
yeah.
or
I
whatever.
actually,
They love it.
I
Yeah.
actually
though-
never got a ticket for it, so it was good.
I got a really funny story. This is not my story. This is somebody else's story. Is used to work for our company. He was a good friend of mine. He lived in San Gabriel. He was he just bought a Crown Vic, a teched out Crown Vic that wasn't supposed to be. Anyway, he stored all his airsoft guns in his trunk.
Huh.
So he gets pulled over because the former owner of the Crown Vic got cited a few times for impersonating a police officer. The former owner of it, and he just bought the thing, and so he gets pulled over, and it's he was also a volunteer sheriff too. So he got pulled over by the sheriff's department, and everything would have been fine, but he had I think his fake Walther literally like right in the open. So then they pull him out of the car, they cuff him, and then they open the trunk, and they literally are pulling the guns out of the trunk and laying them on the cop car, and people are driving by like, what's going? Like, did they just, And he's like, he's trying to explain it's airsoft, blah blah blah. Turned into a whole big ordeal, and sadly he because of that he lost his sheriff's credentials.
Really?
Yeah,
That is going to be a funny story. That's just depressing.
That's kind of
Right, right.
Okay, another funny story is my friend JP. His nephew and his friend were over at his house. JP went to go hang out somewhere, and the kids, they're like 16. They've airsofted before. They're going to airsoft with them the next day. So they started playing around with the guns in the open, and their new neighbor saw them through the window, and SWAT got called.
This is not even.
No, it's funny. So
Examples
SWAT
of
got-
what not to do.
Yeah, right? This is a horrible story.
You're the worst funny storytelling person I've ever
These are
met.
depressing, right?
Yeah.
All right, fine. The moral of the story is, do not brandish
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah,
And
don't do it.
just on a storage point of view, if you treat airsoft guns are not real guns, but if you treat and store them as if they were real guns, you're going to get a lot less flack from law enforcement. If you keep your magazines in a separate compartment from the storage of the airsoft gun, I don't care that it has BBs or real rounds. If you store it properly, you're going to have a much safer and more polite encounter with a law enforcement officer than you would had you had them all just thrown in the trunk willy-nilly.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Ethan Leitner asks, "Dear Insert, first, love the show, keep it up." Now, the actual question, there's no punctuation in this at all. I was wondering, will paintball masks work with a helmet? If not, what do you recommend I do for a field that allows paintball masks for only for people under 18? Okay, so he's saying that at the fields that he plays at, they only allow paintball masks for under 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
And do paintball masks work with helmets?
No, I don't.
I think
Well,
the
wait a minute.
I-4 can work with a helmet.
It's
but
low
not
enough
very
right
comfortable.
here.
The
and you
low
remove
profile
the-
one.
Yeah, but it's not very comfortable.
No.
They
Yeah,
always
so-
end up, usually when you wear a paintball mask, it's even a dye, and you're wearing a helmet at the same time, they're going to be fighting on your forehead the whole time, and either your helmet's going to be too far back or your mask's going to get pushed down.
So I guess the
Yeah.
solution would be like I saw inside. There's some good helmets that are full paintball that have the almost wrap around your complete head.
Right.
So I know that doesn't give you the look or whatever you're looking for, but at least that's an alternative if you want
And
your
if
protection.
Right, and if you're running the helmet for the attachment of a GoPro, if you get one of those full helmeted paintball masks, every GoPro comes with one of those sticky mounts, and you can
Right.
always just mount that to the top of your
Yes.
helmet, or find another.
Yeah, have some guy that's pretty cool with molding, and then can remold you a GoPro like a mount on front.
Oh,
Oh, that's a little hardcore,
Like a fast
but
mount.
yeah.
Does those stick? Did that actually stay? I'm always afraid, it's the camera, $300 bucks, it's going to fall
the
off.
3M double adhesive tape they've got on it is really
Well,
sticky.
Blake and I, seeing the new facility that we're doing for our event, we stuck it on a rental car, and it's still there. I'm sure.
Really?
We could not get it off.
Yeah, there's no-
yeah.
yeah.
We could not get it off. So
Love you for that.
yeah, no kidding.
all right, Rick, draw the next.
All right.
He's gonna hit the tactical minivan.
He got the
The
smallest one.
tactical minivan.
I don't know why that guy just drove in that way. He could have driven in the other way.
Wow. Okay. Crappy Player 2
Hey, I like where
That
he's
guy
coming
wins
from.
the
Yeah.
name award. For
says tactical Crocs. Yay or nay?
Crocs.
Tactical Crocs.
Like Mario Batali status?
No.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I played in sandals before, but that was
I would never want to play.
Yeah.
That was a big
Oh.
mistake. It was indoor.
I'd say no to Crocs, even if they're tactical.
I'd say
Say
wear
no.
them to the
Say
field.
no to Crocs.
Take them off. Put on your boots
Yeah.
for ankle support and speed and
That's a good one.
yeah.
Support.
I mean, if
you
you're
wear
gonna go shower or something, wear them when you shower or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah,
Not
that
on
was the
field.
biggest. You hit on the biggest thing for
Yeah.
me was ankle support.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole reason we recommend combat boots, is so
That's
you don't
right.
roll an ankle when you're, you know.
And when
That
you're playing out there, and especially some of these great outdoor locations, and you're not paying attention, you can easily step on something you don't want to and turn. So even tennis shoes, don't do it. I made that mistake of wearing tennis shoes to an op, thinking that I was operator or whatever enough, and no chance. You got to have boots. I mean, that's the way.
You're just on various terrain, holes. We've seen knees banged up, ankles. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. So I would
Lace
say
up.
no. My vote's no.
I vote no.
Hi,
There you
Bubba.
go, unanimous.
Oh, another question?
You're up.
Another one, bro.
All right, let's go. Let's get a good one here. Maybe it's not 4 paragraphs. Rabbit Gaming.
Nice.
Okay, dear NSRT, I am a very new player at Airsoft, and I was wondering if you guys could give me some tips on how to move and some basic tips I should know, basically, I guess, in general. How to move and basic tips. Well, man, that's a pretty loaded question.
That depends on your environment, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It-
My first question would be, if you're going to learn and really play, is learn to move with your guys. If you're going by yourself,
Here, I'm holding all the questions
okay,
here.
if you're playing
Pull
by
them
yourself,
away.
that's one thing, and depending on the environment, a lot of things. But if you're playing with a team, move with your team.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah,
You
and
know, I
Ro-
think
Robo had a good quote the other day. Your toes point to where you're going, your gun points to what you're shooting at. So as far as your basic movement, yeah, but I mean, if you're moving and shooting, toes point to where you're going, gun points to what you're shooting
Yeah.
at. So that's pretty basic as far as if you're moving and shooting and moving with your squad or moving to a cover or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, going back like you said, it's just people were trying to get, at least we are, trying to get teams and players to learn to play as a group, as a cohesive squad, and not necessarily getting rid of the Rambo, but that does exist at the right time. But moving together would be a good tip for us. So,
One of the things that I noticed, especially with most of our local fields, because they're all smaller mount style fields, is the habit of most younger or newer airsoft players is to find where they have the best cover and then just kind of sit there and plink at people. And there's nothing more effective than pressure. And if you can put pressure on a force, you're gonna have more fun. And that means being more aggressive, moving maybe when you're not comfortable. Yes, you're gonna get shot a lot more, but that's airsoft. And eventually you get used to getting hit, and it's not a big deal.
It's not so much about, to me, it's not so much about getting hit. It's to me about learning what you did right and wrong. So if you're sitting there and you're blink, camping, so to speak, and you're just not moving, you're not going to really learn the tactics or the basic movements if you're just sitting there. To correlate what Matt said, I mean, if you're moving and you're not looking certain ways and you get hit, you go back and say, okay, next time I do that, I'm going to look both ways. It's kind of like crossing a road when you're growing up. I got to look both ways before I cross the road. So kind of just, go out and explore your movements and learn from what you do wrong or,
I like the whole concept of, moving and working. If you're going to work by yourself, that's one thing. But getting out there, I believe airsoft and going to playing, you're going out there to play in that event or that day for that one moment.
Yeah.
That one thing, oh my gosh, you can't believe when I got to do this.
That high.
That's right. So if you move to contact or you're the aggressive one, I believe there's probably a better percentage you're going to get that instance. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so awesome today.
And then you do it once, and then you're like, okay, let's do it again.
Rick is known for, he was playing way before I did, and he brought me into it. He was the guy, no matter what event we are, was always leading the charge, not afraid to run in the building, and not afraid to do that. I was like, wow, maybe it is a lot more fun than just sitting, because you are worried about getting hit,
Yeah.
Well, and this is a conversation that could go on for a long time. That's not a short answer to the question, but what is mostly played and preferred these days is your CQB environments, your mount sites, and working together as a squad is what's typically encouraged, and you're gonna get more out of it. Wood ball is a little different. You're panning other wider areas, and it's a little different play. So
I can't do it. Like, I tried woods ball, like forest woods ball. I can't, dude. Like, I can't even see anybody.
blonde
And you're
hair-
like, shoot at ever.
The blonde hair sticks out so horribly in woodland.
and it doesn't move the entire time.
No, it
doesn't.
Move.
It's all,
It stays in the same place.
He's got
It's
the
always
epic
there.
hair, yeah. It's actually not that good today. No offense. That's even better.
That's a great
Wow.
shot.
I was gonna get a haircut, and then
Yeah, I was gonna get a haircut
too.
too. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can't concentrate on little movements in the woods.
Yeah.
Let's do one more question,
Okay.
and that'll be our last question. So, Russo or Rick, what do you guys?
yeah.
Oh, you already grabbed
Too bad.
I don't
It's
know.
over.
That's too
it.
late.
You grabbed a
You
big one.
Devil Bringer.
Sometimes the bigger questions actually have smaller
Yeah.
answers.
So Devil Bringer.
XX Devil Bringer XX.
Hey NSRT. My question is, what is the difference between tan, coyote brown, and khaki colors? It's question 1.
What is the
I've heard that some of these are difficult, but sometimes the same color depending on the manufacturer. What do you guys do in your case? Get all the same color from the same manufacturer and mix them up. Greetings from Chile.
Wow.
Hello.
Actually, that's a pretty poignant question.
Yeah.
Because you guys deal a lot with gear.
Yeah. Do a lot
And
with gear.
and the fabrics that go into construction of gear.
I usually only have one. I usually only wear one type of uniform. It's usually LBX.
Right.
So I only order LBX
Right.
and only wear their designated color
That's
scheme,
correct.
so I know that they match and I
But-
look as tactical
But
as possible.
LBX runs all of their runs
Right.
with their fabrics are all to spec. So if it's Coyote Brown or Tan 449, whatever.
And
499.
there's a good history behind that. I'm fortunate enough to work at LBT, and we get to see a lot of cool things, some of the gear that comes out of there, and the fact with the Coyote Tan and Coyote Brown, and the colors are drastically different. LBT just had a Tan 499, and there is differences, but I guess at the end of the day, whatever environment he's playing in or what kind of gear fits what he likes, not every manufacturer makes Coyote Brown or Coyote Tan. I see a big push really in Coyote Brown. Don't y'all see that more than Tan?
And
Coyote
it's been
Brown
around
is
for-
the
for
most
quite a while,
generic
yeah.
color, and it goes across a bunch of different brands, whether it's high-speed gear or
Yes.
Blue
Right.
Force gear
Exactly.
or like LBT, LBX, Mayflower, whatever you want to call
HSGI,
it. They
all of them,
all
yeah.
of them have the same color spec. It's when the gear is made elsewhere, sometimes the materials,
Right.
then the colors start to go different directions
Yeah.
because they're not to spec.
Go ahead.
No, please.
I've seen this evolve over the years. In the beginning, it was like tan and green. Then it sort of evolved into coyote brown. And if you look at that, and to answer his
And the
question,
gear-wise, right?
the gear-wise, and khaki's not is rarely seen just because of its color. Coyote brown, those are what's typically worn.
Yeah.
I don't mix match. You do mix match.
I do
a lot.
mix match a lot.
I don't. I'm all about
That's
the
a
same.
whole other conversation.
Top to bottom, but yeah.
Well, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with this. We've talked about this before,
Yes.
George and I, about mix and matching different colors. If you get past the whole I want to look super cool point of view, not to insult everybody that's going for a singular color loadout, but having multicam top and bottom with multicam vest and multicam pouches and multicam gun and
Right.
multicam boots, you'll look really cool, but it's not nearly as real world effective as it would be is if you had different splotches of color,
Right.
simply because again you're breaking up the body form. Yeah,
I thought you said
maybe
multicam was
one
perfect,
OD
though.
doesn't match an OD from another brand.
You're
but
kind
that's
of
not
being
such a big
hypocrite
deal.
right now. You said multicam was perfect. You said there was no other thing.
Multicam is perfect.
in its perfect environment.
In its perfect environment, but I don't also wear a multicam vest.
no, you're
I
right,
wear a
Ranger
Ranger
green.
green
Yeah,
vest.
see, I don't. there you
Yeah,
go.
see,
I'm the
it
same way.
works 60% of the time every time.
Yeah.
And Ranger Green, Ranger Green and Coyote Brown go great together. If you look at the two, they're almost
Yeah.
like
Yeah, they really do.
they're almost like complementary colors, even though they're not in the color.
Well, at the end of the day, what's cool also is, like I said, I see a lot of stuff come through from big teams at a home office, and they just wear what works.
Right.
So a lot of these guys are like, does everything have to look the same? Can I wear a Ranger on Coyote or a multicam? They will have an Coyote Brown rig with a Ranger Green pouch with an AR2 blowout with a woodland. I mean, they just want what works, and
Because
that's
when they're
really
all
more.
covered in dust, they'll all look
Yeah.
the same way.
Right, exactly.
All right,
So,
we're
yeah.
gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming
that's
out
fun.
to
Appreciate
the
it.
show.
Thank
We
you.
did it in our booth.
Good
Make
times.
sure you guys check out all the videos from Airsoft Con coming up this week, and hopefully, if you made it out to Airsoft Con, you got a chance to meet these guys.
Yep.
And if you didn't, you messed up.
Yep.
And if you guys are watching this and you're going to be going to Faded Giants, I'll see
Ooh,
you there.
that's
These
right.
guys will see
Yes.
you there.
He won't.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
George
Hey,
isn't
don't
going.
give it away, man.
He'd rather go on vacation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Golly. We know your priorities are, man.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
Take care.